Well, the other two miracles that we've done so far have been about physical healing. Both April and Donna's story were very moving. If you haven't seen those, go back and look at them. Very, very encouraging story. But today we have a little bit of a different type of miracle. It's a financial provision miracle. And this lovely lady sitting here, Jeanette, is going to tell you all about that. But I just want to tell you that it was a divine connection that God brought Jeanette and I together. Actually, my dryer had broken, and it's a whole long story, but there was a problem with the vent and all this crazy stuff, and I was getting a little frustrated. My laundry was backing up and I was just going to go to the laundromat and get the laundry done. But my husband, being wise and discerning as he is, and me being the wife that always listens to him, just kidding, he said to me, I think God is leading us. There's this lady who has a service where she's just washing and folding of clothes, and I think you should contact her. So I did, and Jeanette came over, and when she came into my house, we just felt an instant connection between us, because she shared a little bit, just a little taste of her story of what God had brought her through financially. And I shared with her a little bit of my story, how I had grown up in a wonderful, amazing household, and we had such amazing, amazing journey with a financial story attached to it, a financial miracle that God had done for us, and what a gift that was to me. And she was sharing about what a gift it is to her children, her financial miracle. So that's a lot of information, but now let's get to the meat of this story, where Jeanette is going to share with us a little bit of her amazing story. So Jeanette, just tell us a little bit of those highs and lows of your journey.
Okay, well, I actually have 3 children, and I was married and became a single parent fairly quickly. I found myself in financial struggle. It was difficult, and I needed to continue working. I didn't have a car, so I had to find a place where I can work that was nearby, and I had to use Uber, and sometimes ask relatives or friends to take me back and forth to work until I was able to get a car, which I did. And I found myself having to work at a laundromat, and I managed that laundromat for about 1.5 years, and it was close to home. It was convenient. I felt like I had failed my family because I was working at a laundromat, and the situation that I was in. I felt like I wasn't appreciated, and that, you just work at a laundromat, so how much self-respect can you have, or how much do you expect? Or so I had had enough that day, a particular day, and I quit immediately. I had no job backed up. I had nothing in line. I had no idea where I was going to get another job and how soon. But at that moment, I just felt compelled to leave, and I did. That night I cried for hours, because how can you do something so irresponsible? How can you leave your job without another one lined up? How do you know when you're going to get another paycheck? So I stayed up that night, and I was just thinking, like, what am I going to do? So at the laundromat, I had a few customers, several actually, that would come to me on days that I worked, because they liked my folding so much, and they'd come on my days and they'd give me a tip. And so I thought of them, because the next day was going to be a Tuesday or Wednesday, and I thought of several people. So I reached out and I said, and while I was going to tell them that, to continue going there, that, they'll take care of you. I won't be there anymore. But at that moment, it like something clicked in me, and I asked myself if this was something that I can do, if this is something I can take on and do it well. And I thought about it, and I actually didn't think that much about it. It almost felt natural. While I was thinking, I'm like, you can create your own business and you can treat people the way you want to treat them and the way they should be treated. And people are very particular about their laundry and they like things certain ways. And could you do that? Could you provide that? Could you pick up? Can you deliver? Can you do this as a business? So I reached out to my customers and I texted them and I said, look, I won't be there tomorrow, but I am starting my own business. And if you're interested, I'll pick up from your home. I'll do your laundry, I'll wash, fold, and I'll deliver. And I'll have it back to you in 2 days. And if I tell you that everybody was just, all my texts were like, great job, great idea. What took so long? I'll call you next week. Can you pick up tomorrow? Like, it was just so overwhelming to me because it felt like this is right, Jeanette. This is fulfilling. This is going to be your thing. 3.5 years later, I am here today, and I'm ever so thankful for meeting Kristen, for God bringing us together. Just thankful that I met her, that she took time to acknowledge my story, and I hope that I can inspire someone who's going through a struggle and is confused.
You are awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I know that's very a vulnerable place.
Thank you so much for giving me the platform and the opportunity. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, Jeanette.
I do.
Can't you tell that this woman it's not about the laundry. She does an amazing job with laundry, and you should definitely look her up. And if you live in the area, there's a shameless plug. But it's not about the laundry. This woman has grit. This woman has strength. And I am so inspired. I know you are so inspired too, to know that when you go through that dark place, when you don't know what to do, when it looks like all your options are cut off, that God will open a way and wink at you and say, this is the way, walk in it. So Jeanette, and I mean, honestly, you just said it all in that. There's not much more to add to it, but what would you say, in just to sum it up, what would you say to someone right now who's in the place, that low point, and not just a low point financially, because you touched on something that and I think no matter what you're going through, we've all been through something in life where you feel low, you feel not worthy, you don't feel like God's daughter, you feel something, and you have to take yourself out of that place and really visualize that you are royalty. So what do you say to someone who is going through something, and hey, listen, it may be financially, it may not be, but something that makes them feel that way? Like, how did you get past feeling that way about yourself and saying, okay, now I'm going to do something about this. I have my kids, I have my future. I'm not going to be a victim, but change it to be a victor. How did you go from a victim to a victor?
Well, determination is really important, because I've gone through a lot, and everyone goes through a lot. I refused to let that stop me, stop my business. My customers never knew that I didn't have a car. They just knew they needed their laundry done, and it was done, and how it got done wasn't important. And I'm thankful for friends, and someone in particular that really helped me a lot manage and continue my business until I was able to get a car and back on my feet, and everything is wonderful now. But I feel like I have to thank the help that I got, because not everybody can do everything alone. Some people need other people to get the job done. I see the bigger picture, but I need a little help to put it in a frame and hang it on a wall.
I think it is so cool that we've done 3 miracle stories. This is the third miracle story. And every single person has mentioned that you cannot do it alone, that you have to have people, you have to have help, you have to have people surrounding you. You can't be isolated.
Absolutely.
I think that is so, so good. The right people surrounding you.
Totally.
I love what you just said there about the framing on the wall. I mean, she's poetic. She has now, I think you should go into poetry too. I mean, and I think it also encourages people who give the help, because now we're in a place, we're all in a place in life at some point or another, right? To be the one receiving the help. We all need help. And then we're in a place at some point or another to give the help.
Yes.
And so if you are a person giving the help, maybe you haven't seen the fruit of it, but it's an encouragement that it makes a difference. So
it could be equally gratifying to receive just as much as you can give.
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, okay, one last question, Jeanette.
Yes.
What would you say is one word or one phrase that would describe your journey? I know that's a tough one.
That's a tough one. Perseverance. Just because I'm having a flashback of all the obstacles I've had to overcome and still overcoming, but I see that all my hard work and my hard efforts, and with God leading me and protecting me and my family, I see nothing but a good future for myself, and I'll be able to provide for my family and be able to have what I've always dreamed of, which is to have my own business. I really didn't expect it to be a laundromat. I actually just, I've always envisioned my own spa, but after encountering the laundromat business for a few years, I plan to have a laundromat and then open up my spa.
That is awesome. Well, I think of the first spa laundromat. I mean, I could just
I don't know if we'll be together, but
no, listen.
We might be next to each other.
If somebody, I'm going to know if somebody comes out with a spa laundromat, because that's our idea. God taught me a wonderful lesson not to get frustrated about laundry, because he through those times, if he's not answering your prayer about your laundry being fixed, it may be because he's going to bring a wonderful person into your life.
Thank you, Kristen. That's
Thank
sweet.
you so much, Jeanette.
Thank you.
Thank you
I really
for
appreciate you.